Your curls are still there. They just stopped looking the way you remember them. And you know it. You look in the mirror and something feels smaller, flatter, like your hair gave up before you did. Here's what nobody says out loud. The wrong cut doesn't just fail curly hair over 60, it actively fights it. It compresses volume where you need lift. It creates bulk where your face needs space. It adds years. Not subtly, visibly. In part 3, I'm covering the one curl-specific technique most stylists skip. And it's the difference between hair that shrinks against your face and hair that actually opens it up. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and the best fixes for women over 50, so you get real results fast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every week. Part 1. The curly cut that changes everything. The curl-by-curl layered shape. Here's something most women with curly hair over 60 have never been told directly. The shape your stylist creates on wet hair is not the shape you're going to live with. Curly hair has its own rules. It contracts. It moves. It does what it wants. And if the cut doesn't account for that, if it's designed for straight or wavy hair patterns, you're going home with something that looked right in the chair and feels completely wrong by the time you get to your front door. That feeling, you know it. You sit under the dryer thinking, okay, maybe it just needs to settle. You get home. You sleep on it. You try to style it the next morning. And it still doesn't sit the way you pictured. It's not a styling problem. It was never a styling problem. It was a cut problem from the beginning. The mistake most women over 60 with naturally curly hair are making right now is walking into a salon and letting someone cut their curls while they're wet and stretched, and then watching in confusion as the hair dries into something completely different from what was planned. This specific choice is actively compressing your natural curl pattern, which flattens the sides of your face and pulls the eye downward, adding 4 to 6 years to how your features read in any light. This is the one a friend of mine heard, and immediately called her stylist the same afternoon. Because once you understand it, you can't unsee it. The fix is a technique called curl-by-curl cutting, and it's exactly what it sounds like. The stylist works with each curl in its dry, natural state. She cuts it where it actually lives, not where it stretches to when wet. This means the finished shape is designed for real life. Your hair. Your curl pattern. Not some averaged-out approximation that was measured on wet strands. There's a reason this specific technique is so hard to find, and it's not because it's complicated. It's because it takes longer. A stylist working curl by curl on dry hair might take 40 minutes where a wet cut takes 20. That time difference is why it gets skipped. Not because it doesn't work. It absolutely works. Here's what you actually swap. If you're currently getting a blunt or layered cut on wet hair that dries shorter and denser than expected, swap that for a dry curl-by-curl shape with internal layers removed only where bulk is creating compression rather than lift. The difference is immediate. Your curls stop fighting your face and start framing it. Your maintenance tip for this one. Ask your stylist to refresh the curl-by-curl shape every 10 to 12 weeks, not sooner. Cutting too frequently removes the length your curls need to hold their shape through the shrinkage cycle. Part 2 is the one that surprises people. Because the next haircut on this list looks simple, but there's one specific thing about how it's shaped that makes all the difference for curly hair over 60. That's next. Part 2, the long pixie built for curly texture. Volume at the crown without the round. Let me be direct about something. Not every short cut works on natural curls. And for women over 60, the standard short pixie is one of the most aging choices you can make if your curl pattern is anything tighter than a loose wave. Here's why. Standard short pixies are designed with straight or fine hair in mind. The layers, the graduation, the taper, they're built to add volume to hair that naturally lies flat. When you bring those same structural decisions to naturally curly hair, you don't get lift. You get a rounded dome shape that sits heavily at the top of the head and creates width at exactly the wrong point on the face, right across the cheekbones and temples, which pushes the eye outward instead of upward. This one detail is doing more work against you than anything else if you've been chasing short curly cuts and not understanding why they always feel slightly off. Weeks, not sooner. Cutting too frequently removes the length your curls need to hold their shape through the shrinkage cycle. Part 2 is the one that surprises people. Because the next haircut on this list looks simple, But there's one specific thing about how it's shaped that makes all the difference for curly hair over 60. That's next. The long pixie built specifically for curly texture is a completely different animal. The length sits between the jaw and the chin rather than at the ear or above it. And here's the specific structural detail that changes everything. The sides are kept close and the volume is directed upward from the crown rather than outward from the sides. Your stylist removes weight from the perimeter and keeps length at the top. The result is a shape that elongates the face rather than widening it. Write this one down. Elongate up, not out. There's something about seeing this cut in real life versus seeing it described that always gets a reaction. Because on paper, long pixie sounds like a contradiction. But on a naturally curly woman over 60, it reads as intentional, modern, and genuinely youthful in a way that doesn't feel like it's trying. It reads like someone who knows exactly what her hair does and decided to work with it instead of against it. The swap here is simple in theory and significant in result. If you're currently in a standard short pixie, tight at the top, graduated at the sides, swap it for a curl-specific long pixie where the stylist deliberately builds vertical height at the crown while keeping the perimeter tight. Ask specifically for directional layering toward the top, not outward graduation toward the ears. Maintenance on this shape is easy. A very light diffuse dry twice a week using a cotton t-shirt rather than a towel to scrunch out moisture. And a refresh trim every 8 weeks to keep the sides clean without removing the crown length. Coming up in part 3, the curl-specific technique I mentioned at the start. Most stylists skip it. It takes 30 seconds to ask for. And the difference it makes to how your face reads in photographs is not subtle. Part 3, the face framing curl cascade. Length that lifts. Okay, let's talk about the thing I promised you at the beginning. Because this is the part that makes sense of everything else. There is a specific question you can ask any stylist before she makes a single cut. And it tells you immediately whether she actually understands curly hair, or whether she's going to give you a straight haircut and hope for the best. The question is, will you be creating any face framing movement, or just removing length overall? That's it. That one question. And the answer will change everything about your next salon visit. Here's why it matters so much. Curly hair, when cut without intentional face framing movement, defaults to one of two shapes, round or triangular. Round means uniform curl all the way around the head, which adds width at the sides. Triangular means more bulk at the bottom than the top, which pulls the eye downward and creates heaviness along the jaw. For women over 60, both of these shapes are actively working against the natural elegance of your bone structure. The face framing curl cascade is the opposite of both. It's a medium-length cut, sitting roughly at the collarbone, where the layers are specifically designed to fall forward around the face rather than outward away from it. Curls in the front sections are cut slightly longer than curls at the back and sides, which creates a natural curtain of movement that draws the eye toward the center of the face, toward your eyes, toward your cheekbones, toward the exact features that your bone structure has been offering all along. This is the one I see most often, and the one that changes how women over 60 look in photographs most dramatically. I watched a woman in a salon chair last week. Stunning bone structure, perfect posture, and her curls were sitting completely flat against the sides of her face with all the weight at the bottom. She kept asking the stylist to just take off a little at the ends. She didn't realize she was asking to make the problem worse, not better. The swap for this one is specific. If you're currently carrying even-length curls that create a uniform round or triangular shape, swap that for a collarbone-length cascade where the face-framing front sections are kept slightly longer than the back, and internal layers are removed from the back only, keeping the front sections fuller and more forward-falling. You'll feel the difference in how your face reads in the first photo you take after that cut. Maintenance here is important. The internal layers at the back need refreshing every 10 weeks, but the front face framing sections can go up to 14 weeks without losing their shape. Ask your stylist to split the refresh that way so you're not overcutting the very curls that are doing the most work for your face. Part 4 is the one people message me about most, because it's the cut that looks the simplest and has the most to say about what curly hair over 60 is actually capable of. Part 4. The shoulder-length curl bob, the shape that does everything. There's one thing about the curl bob that nobody in this space talks about honestly enough. Every version you've probably seen described as a curl bob wasn't actually built for curls. It was built for wavy or straight hair, and then shown on someone with natural texture, as if the rules were the same. They are not the same. And that's exactly why so many women over 60 have tried this cut, felt disappointed, and walked away thinking the bob just doesn't suit them. It suits them. The wrong version of it doesn't. A genuine shoulder-length curl bob built for naturally curly hair has 3 structural features that a standard bob doesn't have, and all 3 of them matter for women over 60 specifically. First, the perimeter is cut on a slight diagonal, longer at the front than the back by approximately 2 centimeters. This creates a subtle forward angle that pulls the eye toward the face rather than away from it. Second, the interior is hollowed slightly at the back to remove bulk without removing length, which stops the classic triangle shape that bobs create on naturally curly hair when left unaddressed. Third, the stylist leaves the face framing sections completely intact and does not layer or thin them. These front sections are your frame. Touching them with thinning shears is one of the most common and costly mistakes a stylist can make on this specific cut. Yes, that's specific. There's a reason this cut keeps coming back into style every decade, and it's not trend cycles. It's because the structural bones of a shoulder-length curl bob genuinely work for mature faces. The length sits at the shoulder, which draws the eye along the neckline and creates visual elegance without effort. The diagonal perimeter naturally follows the jaw angle, which softens the lower face in the most flattering direction. And when the interior is properly hollowed, the curls at the crown sit with lift rather than weight, which is the exact opposite of what gravity has been doing to your hair over the years. Honestly, this is the cut I point to when someone asks me where to start if they haven't had a curl-specific cut before. Because it's the one where the transformation is visible in photographs immediately. Not after styling. Not after 2 weeks of adjustment. Right there in the salon. The swap is this. If you're currently wearing a shoulder-length or chin-length bob that sits too dense at the sides and too flat at the crown, ask your stylist specifically for an internal hollowing technique at the back only, a 2 centimeter diagonal drop from back to front, and a strict instruction to leave all face framing sections untouched by thinning shears. That combination alone will reshape what you've been living with into something that actually works. Maintenance tip for this one. Schedule a perimeter-only trim every 12 weeks. The interior hollowing stays open longer than the perimeter, so you can preserve the length while keeping the shape clean. You just learned 5 curl-specific cuts that actually respect what naturally curly hair over 60 is capable of, and more importantly, you now know exactly what to ask for so you never walk out of a salon with the wrong version again. Boom! Your curls were always this beautiful. Now they have a cut that shows it. Tell me in the comments, which of these cuts are you going to ask for at your next appointment? Or have you already tried one of them and want to share how it went? I want to hear from you. Next time, we're covering the one-color technique for naturally curly silver hair that adds depth without killing the curl pattern. And it's not a gloss, it's not a toner, it's something most women haven't heard of yet. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.